hard. Like, literally, entrepreneurship, you wish and you want it to feel like this, okay? But in reality, entrepreneurship feels like this. This is what entrepreneurship feels like. And this is what it should feel like because this is normal. Okay? So all of us want it to feel like this, or some of us even like this. And some of us are even like, yeah, maybe to be like this. No. It is literally that. And here's the first thing I want to say. This is normal. Like, this is normal. You, me, everyone in this call, Hermosi, Iman Gaji, Alex Becker, Sam Ovens, you fucking name it, all has and still continues to experience this. It doesn't go away. When you climb the levels, it doesn't go away. As a matter of fact, this just magnifies even more. Okay? So, entrepreneurs are difficult, but why? Well, let's look at this. Some of you guys may have seen this sort of drawing before. Okay, this is the 5 steps to behavioral change. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alrighty, actually, as a matter of fact, I'll draw this out myself because here's typically what happens. Is it actually doesn't even start down here. Typically, it starts up here, and then it goes like this. And so, obviously, I hope you guys know the 5 stages. Which number 1, this is informed oopsie daisy, uninformed optimism. Phase 2 is informed pessimism. Phase 3 is the valley of despair. Phase 4 is informed optimism. And then phase 5, as I call it, is success. Okay? Here's the issue. Is a lot of us, and this is what will explain shiny object syndrome, right? Is we dive into something up here thinking it's the best thing we've ever seen, right? So for example, let's say you went into SMMA, right? And you dove into this thinking it was the best thing ever. All you heard was good things about it. And it went well, and you set up your logo and your domain, and things are feeling good, right? And you're happy. You're very happy. You're confident. You're like excited. And then all the good dopamine, happy feelings start to wear off. And all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck. This is a bit more difficult than I thought. Closing clients isn't as easy as everybody made it out to be. This is, man, like my Facebook accounts are getting banned. Holy fuck, right? And then you get to phase 2, right? Which is informed pessimism, where you're like, oh fuck, right? Well, look here. Anxiety, happiness, fear, threat, guilt. So you start to question it. Or you start to question, am I making the right decision? Like, shit, is this the right decision? Do I keep going with this? And then things get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And you're like, oh fuck no. Like this is thing, you've hit the valley of despair, right? This is the valley of despair. And then you've hit this, and you're like, oh fuck. SMMA or this object, this whatever, wasn't as easy as I thought it out to be. And so I'll draw a new graph to make this make sense. Here's what happens. So you go like this, like this, like this. The problem is when people get here, they're really sad. This is like depression, right? Like this is the depression phase where you're like, I don't know anymore. This is fucking difficult. I give up. And here's what people do is they go and they start back here at a new shiny object. But what it looks like is this. And here's what happens is this phase repeats over and over and over and over and over again. That's why people keep switching. Because they keep switching because they think that every time they switch, things will get better because they only see the pros of this new opportunity, not understanding that every single time this is normal. This pattern is normal. And they don't understand that. Which is why when it gets tough, they switch because they expect everything to be easy. And they want it to be easy. And therefore, when it gets tough, they switch to go to something new, to happier, right? And then at the beginning, everything's all fun and games, right? Like a relationship, everything is all fun and games at the beginning. And then it gets to the tough part. People are like, well, this isn't like the same love I used to have. Let me go find new love. And here's the thing, is when you initially go and go talk to that new girl, right away, all the sparks are there. And everyone's happy, right? You're all excited. You're like, woohoo, this is amazing. Oh my goodness. Me and my last partner lost this. Like, this is the sparks I was looking for, right? This is the happiness. And then you go and hang out with that person a lot, and it goes back down here again. You're like, what the fuck? Where did this spark go? Why am I sad again? You're like, okay, well, let me go talk to a new person, right? And this is literally the current dating market that we are in. This is why so many people divorce all the time. Forget, there's a lot of other dark shit behind the scenes, but this is what happens. Because people give up and they want it to be easy. They think love should be, some fairy fucking romance and it should just be super easy. And so they go, well, this is difficult. We're fighting. Screw this guy. And they go talk to a new guy, and the new guy gives her good feelings because in the beginning, everything feels good, right? Everything is happy and awesome. And so they switch to the new thing. Then they go, oh, yeah, screw that thing. That old person, that old business model, that old offer, that old script sucked. This one is so good. Only to realize that in a few short weeks, months, years time, they're going to get back down to here again. And here's what happens is when you don't understand and accept the fact that it's going to be difficult, you keep switching and switching and switching. And you can see this. Like, look, imagine this on a big scale. You make no progress because every time, right, this is level 0, you get to level what? Level 2, right? This may be like level 2.5. You just go back down a level. But you feel good about yourself because you're starting on a happiness thing. But you're just resetting your level every time. Imagine every time, imagine this, imagine you're in a video game, right? And you were to level up. This is level, we'll say like 99, right? Whatever the case is. And you were like fighting a dragon, whatever the case is, and you beat some levels with who you're happy, and then you get to the stagnation. And you go to fight this big dragon. Okay, this is this big dragon. And you're like, fuck, this dragon is difficult. Let me just reset my level and go back to the beginning and go again because the beginning was easy and the beginning was fun. Here's what people do. This is like you real life. You reset your level back to 0, and so you falsify the feeling of progress because you go back to 0 and you make a lot of progress really fast, right? In the beginning, you make a lot of progress really fast, and so you keep going back because like, oh, look how much progress I made in the beginning. But imagine you do this in a video game, and every time you got to the boss, you just quit and went back to level 0. You would never ever get anywhere. Sure, you'd feel good that you're ranking up fast every time you go from level 0 to 5 quickly, but every time you get to the boss, you give up. And so you never actually make it anywhere in life because you give up the second it gets hard. And so you'll never actually pass level 5, for example. This is level 5, right? You'll never pass this level. And so this is the thing that people do, but you would never do this in a video game. You're like, oh no, I have to, like, maybe defeating this dragon will take me a bit more time, but I have to beat him, otherwise I can't move on to level 6, right? Or 7, or 8, or 9, or 10, or etc. Right? But what people do is they give up because it gets so difficult. And they're like, oh fuck. But the thing is, you wouldn't do this in a video game because you understand that the more you rank up, the harder the level is going to be. But yet, why do we do this in business? Why do we do this in business? Why do so many of us give up and always, when we get to the valley of despair, look for something else? Well, the first reason is because it gets difficult, and so we inherently seek things that are easier, such as how our brain works, right? But let's look at this even further. Is this making sense so far? Am I painting this picture okay so you guys are understanding this about why you feel this way? Okay, cool. So if we go back to this, the process of transition. So here's what it looks like with some feelings attached to it. So this is the moral incompetence, and this is time. So in the beginning, you're a little bit anxious. You're almost like anxiously excited to start. You're like, oh my goodness, like you're anxious. You're like, I don't know, but like I'm super excited. Like when you first got into the business you're currently in, you're probably like anxiously excited. Like I've heard a lot of good things about it. Everyone's making money really fast with this. Like it sounds really cool, etc. This is me with dropshipping. Is I heard everyone's becoming a millionaire overnight with dropshipping. So I was like, dude, I'm so excited, right? And so I went into it, and I was happy. I was excited, right? I was like, woohoo! Like I'm becoming a millionaire, right? And then I started to run the ads. I got no sales. I started to get a little bit scared. Okay, and some people go into denial here, but we'll just pretend that we don't. Okay, and then you go into threat and then guilt of like, oh fuck, oh no. And here is where most people accept defeat and run. Okay, and then they get to the depression phase. And this is what really happened to me with my dropshipping business. I was like, I've spent thousands of dollars on ads. I've made literally barely any sales. The store isn't getting anywhere. I'm not a millionaire yet. What the fuck? And guess what I did? Started again. Looked for a new opportunity. Right? And then guess what? I looked for a new opportunity that was more exciting, which was SMMA. I do SMA in the beginning. I was anxious. I was happy. Now after I went on, I was like, oh fuck, this is a lot more difficult than it made it out to be. And I got to the same point of depression where I was like, fuck. Here's the difference. Is I was surrounded with people like Tony around me who told me this is okay and that this is normal. And I said, you know what? I don't know, but what do I know? You guys have done this. I haven't. I believe you guys. And so I just kept going. And day in and day out, kept putting in the work. Okay? And eventually you start to accept that it's difficult. But you keep going and you keep going and you keep going, you keep moving forward. Eventually you realize you start making progress again. You start, and it's way slower than before, right? The progress happens in the beginning. This doesn't even do it justice. It really looks more like this. This is your graph. It really looks more like this. This is really what it looks like. You make so much progress so fast in the beginning, and then this happens. It's so much slower after this initial phase, so much slower. But over time, you see if you just keep plucking away, you slowly start to go upwards. Very slowly, but you do. Here's the problem, is most people give up right here. Right here. And the reason why they never make money, they never amount to anything is they constantly chase this because they're always looking for this fast growth period. They don't want things to be slow and hard and difficult. And so when it gets there, they don't want to accept that it has to be like this, and therefore they give up. But it's also why they never get anywhere because this is required. This is just required, right? Becoming the best basketball player, initially it's fun, right? Learning how to play basketball. Yeah, like the gym, great example, right? Initially, when you first go to the gym, we all know this newbie gains, right? Whoopity doo, woo! Newbie gains, right? And then after your newbie gains, you stagnate a little bit. Most people stagnate because you just initially grow because you just go to the gym. They don't have a proper anything. You kind of stagnate, right? Maybe even go down a little, and then it's way slower. After this, it's way slower. As a matter of fact, the bigger you get, and this is true for the gym and in business, the bigger you get, typically the slower you grow. Like Amazon at this current point in time doesn't triple their revenue yearly. They just don't, right? Whereas I'm pretty sure, I don't know the exact numbers, but in the first year, Jeff Bezos, or at least in like the first half of the year, he did like, or in the first like 8 months, I think he did like $0, and then the last like whatever couple months, he did like 500 grand, right? And then later on, and then he went to like a billion within like a couple years after that, right? So the growth was literally like this. But here's the thing: is after that it stagnates and then it slowly grows. The problem is nobody wants this because we just get excited for this, but we have to understand that this is normal after you've been in something for a long period of time. Let's go. Let's bring ourselves back to reality for a second, okay? And I want you to look at this. So this is life, okay? If you've ever talked to me before, you know that if you've read the book Chop Wood Carry Water, you know one of my favorite quotes in the book is that hard is not a choice, where you experience it is. And this picture perfectly demonstrates exactly that, right? Like you are here. This is you. You are this person. You are this red man, okay? And the thing is, right now, you have a choice, okay? You have a choice to either make hard decisions and climb this fucking unforeseeable massive mountain that you have no idea where it's going to go or how it's going to work, right? Make all these hard decisions, or you can go and take the easy route, right? You can sit back, you can do nothing right now, you cannot make those cold calls, you could just not hop on those calls, you could not wake up early, just not go to the gym, and it's easy, right? It's easy to do those things. Here's the problem though, is in the beginning you make a choice, easy decision, hard decisions. Here's the thing, is whatever you pick now, the opposite happens later. So if you choose hard now, you get this easy life later. Look at this. Once you get to the top here, right? Once you get here, look how easy this is to get to where you want to go. As a matter of fact, it's really easy. You just walk straight to the flag and you get your, your victory crown. That's your victory crown. Okay. Here's the problem: is if you choose the easy decisions, look what happens. You slide into this massive rut. And this is why you have so many like broke and homeless people, etc. Because they all choose the easy, comfortable life now. And then later down the line, you're like, fuck, I can't pay my mortgage, right? Or I can't take the kids to school, or I can't retire, or I can't do this. And now they're fighting an absolute uphill, not even uphill battle, inverse uphill. Like, look at this, right? They're trying to fucking rock climb up this vertical mountain, quite literally vertical, because they decided to make the easy decision first. And the thing is, like, I know this is just some little animated graph thing, whoopity-doo, but like, this is literally life. Do you want to make the hard decisions now, or do you want to make the easy decisions and make absolutely unfathomable hard things later? And the thing is, this isn't even like, these are the decisions. Either you choose to make hard or easy decisions. Later, it's not a choice anymore. If you choose easy now, it's going to be hard later. If you choose hard now, it'll be easy later. So you pick, right? Do you want to do the hard things now, then have an easy life later? Do you want to do the easy things now and have a hard life later? Up to you, right? Because here's the thing: cold calling and shit every single day, calling 200 people and staying consistent is difficult, right? That is a hard decision to make, to do that every single day, to wake up early, to make those calls, to get rejected, to eat healthy, to go to the gym, etc. Those are hard decisions you have to make. But you want to know what's really harder? Is living a life with no money. That's even harder, right? It's not being able to afford the rent. It's being laughed at your whole life because you never amounted to anything and all the things you told people never worked. right? It's never being able to take care of your wife because you were sitting here like a fucking little loser while you were, in your prime 20s. Okay? Those are also difficult. Okay? Those are also difficult. When you go out with your friends, it's hard to say, no, I don't want to drink. Right? But it's nice later because you don't become an alcoholic. It's easy to say now under the peer pressure, oh yeah, fine, I'll drink. And then all of a sudden you become an alcoholic, you lose everything, you gamble everything away, and look at your life now. They're both hard. You just choose when you experience the hard. Right? Like, once again, I'll make it very clear. They're both difficult. The thing is, you just get to choose, where do you want to experience the pain? Do you want to experience it now and then enjoy later? Or do you want to enjoy now and then suffer later? The problem is, most people have a hard time doing this because all they can think about is today. Is, how do I feel today? How do I feel right now? How do I feel in this current moment? And they go, well, I want to be happy now. Instead of make the easy decisions. But you got to put your fucking feelings aside for a minute and realize that, yes, life is short, but also life is long. And the decisions you make today will have a huge impact on the way you live your life in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Right? And so are you going to make these easy decisions now, or are you going to make the hard ones? And the thing is, it's your choice. Life will be hard. I'll make it very clear. Life will be hard, no matter what path you choose. You just experience when you want to feel the pain. Do you want to feel the pain right now, right here? Or do you want to feel it in 20 years? It's your choice. Where you feel the pain is your choice. But the thing is, people run from pain. They think pain is bad. And therefore, they want to delay the pain. They don't want to feel the pain. But guess what? Here, it's not a choice anymore. You just get given the pain. And you just get given the burden. It's not a choice. You just get given it. Here, it is a choice. And so I'd argue this is even easier. Because at least you know what's coming. Whereas here, you don't. You have no idea what's happening. It just gets really fucking hard. Okay? There's something else I want to touch on, which is why entrepreneurship is so hard. And it's for this reason I'm about to draw. Okay? When you're an entrepreneur, you do this. Let's zoom out here, actually. This is you. Okay? This is your graph. Okay? Here's what you do. Is you work, and have nothing to show for it. So try and show this to you visually. You show up. You work, you make those cold calls, you hop on the sales calls, you do this, you do that, you build your website, you wake up early, you stay up late, you do whatever the fuck you need to do, and you have nothing to show for it. You work, you have nothing to show for it. You work, you have nothing to show for it. You work, and then boom! Then all of a sudden it hits. Right? And then people don't really understand this. And so let me give you a real life example of this ice cube. This is an ice cube. Okay? All of us know that ice freezes at what temperature? Please say it in Celsius. Can someone say it in Celsius?
0.
Thank you. Okay. So if we put an ice cube in a room that is negative 10 degrees Celsius, what will happen to the ice cube?
It won't melt.
You're right. It just stays there. It's frozen. Okay. Now, Peter, let me ask you a question. Imagine there's a dial. Okay. There's a dial to this room. And the dial is negative 10. And every single day I turn the dial once. So it goes to negative 9. What happens now?
Nothing.
Okay, next day, negative 8. What happens now?
Nothing.
Negative 7. Negative 6. Negative 5.
Nothing will happen until 0 degrees. But all those
So what about
other...
negative 3? What if I show up today and I turn it to negative 3?
Nothing.
What now? What about negative 2?
Nothing.
Negative 1?
Nothing.
So you're telling me I've shown up every single fucking day and I have nothing to show for it?
Yep, pretty much.
What if I turn it to 0?
There you go. Everything starts happening at once.
So you're telling me that I can do the same thing for 10 days, 10 weeks, 10 years in a row, and all of a sudden, one day, magically, all of a sudden, things start to happen, despite the fact I changed nothing.
Pretty much.
That's entrepreneurship. Is you show up every fucking day, and you do the thing you know you need to do, and you have nothing to show for it, but you just keep showing up because you know that eventually that dial is going to hit 0, and then it's going to hit +1, and +2, and +3, and +4. Here's the problem, is most people don't have enough faith, they don't have enough belief, they don't have enough conviction to keep showing up and turning the dial even though they have nothing to show for it. This is why entrepreneurship is so hard. Is because people lose faith. It's not because the business is hard. It's not because getting people to say yes is hard. It's not because getting money is hard. It's not because making an offer is hard. No, it's because people lose faith. That is why so many entrepreneurs fail. Is they lose faith that they're going to get to where they want to go. It's like this. It's like if you're climbing a mountain, okay? And right here is the flag. This is the view, okay? And this is where you're going. You're trying to get to the view. And you're walking, but here's the problem. You're in a huge cloud, so you can't actually see how far you are. And so you're walking up this mountain. This is you, okay? And you're walking up the mountain. And you keep walking and walking and walking with no clue how close you are. But you know that eventually there will be a top. And so you just keep going and going and going and going and going. And eventually you're going to take that last step and you're going to be at the top. What was the difference between the last step and the first step? Nothing. There was no difference. But the last one is the one that finally gave you the reward. Here's the problem, is this is entrepreneurship. Uphill battle on a mountain with tons of fucking little divots and drops and whatever, and you're in the middle of a huge cloud and you can't see anything. You have no idea when you're going to get here. But here's the thing. You will never ever get here if you don't have faith that you'll make it there, because you'll give up. And so this is why entrepreneurship is so difficult, is because people lose faith, they lose belief, they lose conviction, they stop believing it can work. And what happens when you stop believing? You walk down the mountain. You're right back down. This is why entrepreneurship is so hard. Is because there is no certainty, there is no guarantee, and you don't know what the fuck is happening. You show up every single day and you turn that dial, you turn that dial, you turn that dial, you have nothing to show for it. And you keep showing up every single day, you turn and you turn and you turn and you turn and you turn, and you have nothing to show for it. But if you have enough faith, you have enough conviction, you have enough belief in yourself, eventually you're going to show up, you're going to turn that dial, and all of a sudden something's going to click. And all of a sudden you're going to close that client. All of a sudden a person's going to say yes. All of a sudden you're going to have the money in your bank account. But the thing is, you have to stick it out long enough to believe in yourself to get there. That's where the key is most people, they give up, right? They get to the valley of despair and they stop showing up, they stop turning the dial. But like we just discussed, sometimes you just gotta show up every single day and turn that fucking dial. And you'll have nothing to show for it for days, sometimes weeks, sometimes months, sometimes even years. You could do entrepreneurship for 5 years and have nothing to show for it. And then on your 6th year, you could finally hit it big and get that big investor you need and sign that client, and boom, now you're at $1 million a year. The problem is most people just want to go right to here, right? Everybody wants the view. Literally, everyone wants the view, but nobody wants to do the climb. Everybody wants the prize, but nobody wants to pay the price. Everybody wants the trophy, but nobody wants to do the training. And so this is why it's so hard. Everybody just wants this. They just want the view, but nobody wants to do the climb, where you can fall and die at any given moment in the middle of the clouds when you have no idea how close you are. And that's why entrepreneurship is so difficult. It's because there is no guarantee. There is no, oh, once you take 10 steps, you make it. Could be 10, could be 20, could be 1,000. But you just have to keep going. Because that's how entrepreneurship works, is you just, like, you cold call, 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 and finally somebody says yes. And finally, after that 5,672 calls, that person says yes and they pay you the 5K invoice. The problem is most people aren't willing to go through 5,762 calls to get there. They just wish that they could make their first call and make the money. But that doesn't happen. You have to go through a lot of them. And the thing is, there is no number. There is no this. That's why entrepreneurship is so hard, because it's just uncertainty. It's just this uphill battle in the middle of a fog. You have no idea how close you are. You have no idea if you're right at the tippity top or if you're just getting started. You have no clue. All you know is that it's difficult. That's all you know, is it's fucking difficult. And this is why, to some extent, you have to be so delusional, because you have to stick with something for so long while it sucks so bad to eventually see it pan out. This is why so many people give up, is because they lose belief. They're not delusional enough. This is why you hear people talk all the time, oh, you need to be delusional, because you do. To some extent, you have to be delusional enough to sit here and keep waking up every single day when nothing is going right, when everyone is saying no, when nothing is going right in your business. You still have to show up and turn that dial. Right? You just have to show up and turn that fucking dial. And one day, when you show up and you turn that dial, things will click. That's why it's so, so, so difficult. It's for that exact reason. So yeah, this summarizes pretty well entrepreneurship in a nutshell and why the fuck it's so, so difficult and most people give up. And rightfully so, because to some extent you have to be absolutely delusional to a pretty far extent to have this much belief, this much confidence, this much faith in yourself when there's no guarantee of the outcome. And the thing is, it's not for everybody. This is difficult, right? This is why you see a lot of people don't succeed, don't carry on with entrepreneurship, is because they get demotivated and they give up. And they give up because they have no clue how close they were. Because there's no guarantee. There is no certainty. There is no, oh yeah, for sure. That's what makes entrepreneurship so hard, especially if you're doing it alone. So, yeah. Enjoy.
That hit too close to home, bro.
Trust me, bro. For me too. For me too. Like this is like everyone experiences this. Hermosi, even if you, my God, you posted a video on this a little while ago. Said I'm scared. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Every single day I wake up and I don't know what the fuck is happening. I have no clue if that business is gonna shut down tomorrow, or if this is gonna happen, or if that's gonna happen. I have no fucking idea. Because as you climb the ranks, like it doesn't go away. You just get better at dealing with it. As a matter of fact, it gets even more difficult because the magnitude of the problems just increase, and the magnitude of your self doubt increases. Because the more you go and the more money you deal with, the more people you help, your self doubt will just magnify, right? And so yeah, everybody, every single person in here, every single entrepreneur you've ever faced has gone through that. Nobody talks about this, right? This is like the dark side of entrepreneurship. No one's talked about, especially now if you sell something because it's not sexy, right? No one wants to admit this kind of stuff and talk about how difficult it really is. But like that is the truth. That is the fucking dark side that no one will ever talk about, and it's just something that all of us have to suck up and deal with.
Good
And I
fucking
feel
call,
like
man.
if people did get that result that they wanted, like off the first call, off the first whatever, and they did start selling and they did start making money. After that client churns, after they stop working with you, they're not going to know what the hell's going on because they think uh, that they're going to get one result when really they haven't done the work to get that result. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's even worse.
Oh, 100%. That's why a lot of people get really complacent is because they get the quick win fast, and therefore they expect that everything should just be that easy. And therefore, when it's not, they're like, what the fuck is going on? And then they're even more likely to give up because they had a false representation of what it's like to actually be an entrepreneur, which is why people that get given to them never succeed because it's not an accurate representation of what life is actually like, right? Which is why I'm sure you've heard of all the stories about millionaires that gave all their kids all their money and the kids lost all the money because the kids never worked for it. They didn't understand what it was like to get it.